Hey, so you're thinking about getting a Garmin watch, and I approve of your choice. I'm a big fan, but the choices in front of you are dizzying. I am on several forums and a couple of subreddits, and pretty frequently somebody comes in and goes, "Which Garmin do I get?" And they're kind of lost. And Garmin doesn't make it easy on you guys. There's a ton of choices, but as I've been playing with Garmin's over the past few years and a frequent Garmin user, I think I have some insight. So I'm going to give you a quick and dirty guide. I'm going to try and keep it 8 minutes or less. Like I said, quick, dirty. Some people are probably not going to approve of what I'm saying. And if you're that person, man, hit me in the comments. Let me know your thoughts and how I'm wrong. Totally cool. Don't hold back. And if there's things that I missed, let me know that as well. This is really kind of to just give you kind of a rough guideline about where you should be looking. Now look, guys, Garmin is really predominantly and primarily a company full of endurance athletes. And so really, if you're a runner, like if that's your jam, probably any Garmin is going to work for you. Like every single one of them has running features built into it, and just it's really kind of the extra stuff that you get with some of the others. So if you're a runner, I don't know if there's a bad choice. And if you disagree with my choices because your aesthetic is different, maybe you just like the looks of one versus the other, I get that too. Anyways, let's jump in. So look, guys, if you're a runner and that's your jam, that's your primary reason for getting a fitness tracker or a sport watch, probably the Forerunner series is where you want to concentrate. And the Forerunner series has everything from really kind of base models all the way up to like the everything model. Figure out if you want mapping, music, onboard microphone, things like that. And then the choice kind of becomes, I think, self-evident. If you just want the most bare bones thing there is, the 55 is good. If you want a little more, the 265, it's kind of the previous generation model, also an excellent watch. If you want their current mid-tier, the 570, and then if you want really the one that does everything, the top tier runner model, the 970 is your jam. If you kind of straddle the fence between lifestyle and sport, you want something a little more smartwatchy and maybe you're not a hardcore athlete, take a look at the Vivio Active or the Venue. The Vivio Active is a little lower on the tier when it comes to price and feature set, and the Venue is a little higher. The most recent Venue, the X1, is not cheap, but they really kind of kicked that out as a direct competitor to the Apple Watch Ultra. So it's a square form factor, very light, very thin. Battery life is way better than the Apple Watch Ultra, but that's, I think, really what they were thinking when they put that one together. Hard to go wrong with those if that's kind of where you sit in the smartwatch / sport watch universe. So if you want something a little smaller, a little more feminine, something that looks a lot nicer, then the Lily is your jam. It is going to be a smaller presentation, looks a little nicer. So if you're going to wear it out in public and not be embarrassed because you got some chunky fitness watch on your wrist, definitely the Lily. If you're a G-Shock person, you like that rugged aesthetic, the no nonsense, hardcore look, then you probably want the Instinct series. The Garmin Instinct comes with a couple of different display choices, several sizing choices, and the Instinct 3 now has a flashlight on all of them. That's really kind of where that one fits. I see that a lot with police, military, first responders, super popular in that crowd. Now, if you're looking for ultimate adventure watches plus flagship level stuff, then you probably want either the Fenix or the Enduro. The current Fenix 8, which I'm rocking right now, you can get in multiple display types, multiple sizes, and it is the one that gets all of the features. And it is also the one that's going to get all of the best updates moving forward until they move to a Fenix 9, I think. So you're getting with that excellent battery life, all of the running metrics, all the sport metrics, offline maps, a microphone, a speaker, the ability to handle messaging from your phone with a Bluetooth connection. It does everything. If you're looking for something that's a little less smartwatchy and like ultimate adventure, it's definitely going to be the Enduro. The current Enduro is only one display type and it has solar, and the battery life on it is insane. So if you're somebody who's going to go off on some crazy long trek out in the middle of nowhere with limited or little to no ability to charge your watch, probably the Enduro is going to be it. With those, expect flagship level pricing. If you like that jam, but you don't want like the bleeding edge, if you step back one generation, they're still selling the Fenix 7, the Epics, and those are about half the price, probably 80 to 90% of the functionality. They still get bug fixes, but they're not going to get the latest, greatest bleeding edge stuff. And I rocked a Fenix 7 for a long time and was super happy with it, so I can't say anything bad about those. But like I said, if you want that top tier, probably the Fenix 8's where it's at. Before I go any further, I should really talk about display types. Garmin has two different display types, the memory and pixel, which some people call transflective, and the AMOLED display. The transflective stuff, the memory and pixel or MIP, it is a lower resolution. It does come in black and white or color depending on the watch, and it's got the best battery life between the two display types. It's also the one you're going to get if you get a solar variant of any of these. The MIP looks really good outdoors, and if you're predominantly or primarily going to use this watch outdoors under direct sunlight, then MIP's not a bad choice. It looks really, really good in those conditions. Where it kind of falls down is when you're indoors. It does have a backlight available, so it can brighten things up, but it is kind of meh when it comes to indoors or a slightly darker environment. The AMOLED, on the other hand, is very bright, very vibrant. Garmin doesn't tell you how bright it is in terms of nits or anything like that, but in my testing, this one is probably just as bright as most of the, I'd say 2/3 crowd, so probably around 2000 nits based on my very uncalibrated eyeballs. Higher resolution, looks really good indoors. And guys, I have aging eyes. I'm an aging athlete. I'm a crappy athlete, but an aging crappy athlete. And so for me, when I switched to AMOLED and never looked back, I really do like the AMOLED display. And I found the AMOLED display to not have a horrible battery life. I've been running this watch right now with always on display going, and I've been getting 11 to 12 days out of it before I need to charge it. This is the 51 millimeter, so understand that the sizing comes into effect when it comes to batteries. We'll talk more about sizing in a little bit, but like I said, for me, AMOLED's the deal. Definitely take a look, see which one makes the most sense for you. Before I go any further, I also want to mention that Garmin started doing an E or Echo version of the Instinct and the Fenix. These are feature stripped bargain versions of their current kind of higher end watches. Based on what I'm seeing, you're almost better off buying the previous generation, like a Fenix 7 or an Instinct 2 instead of the E. So I would just skip those guys unless it's really like you've decided that that feature set, what it has is perfect for you, but I'm not a fan. And also I kind of mentioned but glossed over sizing. Guys, everybody's really wrapped around the axle about what size watch to get. They come in kind of small, medium, and large. The larges are 50 to 51 millimeter. The mediums are around 45 to 47 millimeter. And the smalls 42 to 43 millimeter. If you can go to a store like REI, try them on, see which one looks best to you. If you don't have the ability to try them on ahead of time, you're ordering off the internet blind, go get you an Oreo cookie. Get you an Oreo cookie, set it on your wrist, and see what it looks like, because an Oreo cookie is 45 millimeters in size. If it looks too big, get something smaller. If it looks too small, get the bigger one. If it looks just right, there you go. Now, I will say this, despite me having very small wrists, I have very small wrists, and I always get the biggest watch, because one, I don't care. Two, I want the biggest battery. Three, I want the biggest display, and that's why I go with the big one. No matter what, it probably looks ridiculous on me. I don't care. A caveat to that, when you're running or doing any jostling, you're going to have to tighten them harder or they're going to bounce around some, and that may cause the optical heart rate sensor to not have the greatest accuracy. So watch properly sized for you is probably going to give you the best accuracy when it comes to the data that it's getting. Guys, there are also some specialty Garmins that have very specific niche goals. The Quadix is for boating and diving. If you just do diving, you can certainly use the Fenix 8. It is dive capable, but if you want boating feature as well, the Quadix is going to be it. If you are military, police, any sort of tactical gamer, you probably want to be looking at the Tactics series. They have features like Jump Master, Stealth, Night Vision, Kill. It will let you, on some models, do ballistic solving. So if that's something that is interesting to you or you need, the Tactics series is probably going to be it. And a caveat that the Instinct series also has a tactical variant that does quite a bit of that as well. If you are a pilot, D2, that's your jam. If you are a Fitbit person and you want something similar, but you want greater durability and better sensor functionality than the Fitbits, then you probably want the Vivo Smart. Garmin made that, and if you look at it, it looks like it is directly calling to Fitbit, like I'm coming after you. If you have a ton of cash and you want to show it off, you get the Garmin Mark series. And guys, I think that's it. I tried to keep it as fast and concise as I could. I know I talked a lot. At the end of the day, guys, I don't think there's a bad choice. Like whatever Garmin you get is probably going to do a pretty darn good job. All of them do cool things like sleep tracking, heart rate variability, all of the health metrics that I want. Obviously, any ability to go on walks, hikes, runs, that's all there. It's really just the extra stuff on whatever you want. I like Garmin. I've played with a lot of other watches if you watch any of my other videos, but I keep coming back to Garmin over and over again. I can't help myself. Save your jokes. Guys, special thanks to some of the kids on Reddit who said some things, because I posted a real bare bones version of this there, and I got a lot of feedback from those guys, and it was legit, so I incorporated a lot of that. So yes, God help us, this video was made with the help of Reddit. I'm sorry. And guys, like I said, I'm going to table this here. Thank you for watching. I know your time's super valuable. And so if you're watching all the way to this point, I really appreciate you. Any links that I put down in the description, guys, are all probably 80-90% affiliate links. Any shopping you do with those doesn't cost you anything, but it does help me out when it comes to getting some of the items that I use and test and then report back on. So any help in that regard is definitely appreciated. Guys, if you like gear reviews, flashlights, watches, knives, occasional firearms content, some fitness content, what can I say? I'm old, but I'm trying to stay in shape and not die. Please do those YouTube things like subscribe, hit the notification bell. That also helps me a lot, guys. Anyways, I'm going to end this here. I know different venue, it's a rental office in effect that I'm borrowing for the week while I'm on holiday. Guys, take care, stay safe. I'll talk to you soon.
Get 'em, Jay.